And you want to make sure, if you can get your parsley organic, to get your parsley organic, because it's a green and greens are heavily sprayed. There's so many minerals and beneficial minerals in the parsley. What I do with my parsley is, a lot of people like skim it off the stalk. You really don't need to, because it's like broccoli. Broccoli, the most nutrition dense, is in the stalk, and parsley, it's in the stalk as well. So there's so many minerals in this. If you cut it off and you have those stalks, freeze them and use them in your bone broth. Never get rid of any green. Like, you can use it, except for the cow stems, totally indigestible. Give it to your dog. Dogs really love cow. So you have that. 2 to 4 cloves of garlic. Now, I'm not a heavy garlic fan, so I'm going to use 1.5 tonight in this. There's 1 small can of anchovy fillets. You can get them in the store in the glass container or a tin container. I prefer the glass just because the tin may have what?
Aluminum.
Aluminum or BPA in the can lining. So Carrie's philosophy is always glass is best, better. Yep. And the company cares more. And then 3/4 cup sun-dried tomatoes. Now, if you've never seen sun-dried tomatoes, please come up here after and see them. They're also in a glass container. You can get them several different ways, but they're literally sun-dried, and they're in oil and a seasoning. And then extra virgin olive oil. Who remembers what Carrie likes? What kind of oil?
Dark bottle.
Dark bottle.
First cold press.
First cold press. Extra virgin.
Organic.
We did it. So dark glass bottle means the company cares. First cold press, first off the press, totally non-processed at all. Okay, so no heat went on it. Organic and extra virgin is the fine of the crop. And then balsamic vinegar. What do you want to get balsamic vinegar? You want to get it organic because it's made out of grapes, right? So grapes are very highly sprayed in pesticides. My body reacts very, very negatively to them. I have what's called a superpower. I used to call it my curse. Right now it's my superpower. So all you want to do is, my recipes with Mindful Wellness are simple and easy because that's all I know how to do. Literally, you're just going to chop this parsley like nothing else. And I brought this thinking it would be easy to transport. It's not going to be better. And you want to make sure you have a good knife. If you guys don't have a good knife in your kitchen, you're not going to want to cook. Who has good knives? Perfect. What are some brands that you use that you can share?
Mine are Cutco.
Perfect. Cutco?
Pampered Chef.
Pampered Chef?
I don't know if that's necessary.
Oh yeah. If you have a knife that works for you, it doesn't matter if they're good or not. It's if you feel comfortable with it. So I do have Cutco, but any knife that you feel comfortable with. So literally, you see how I obliterated that stalk? You want this recipe a little chunky because you want to be able to have substance to it. And some sauces are really thin and slippery, and it just sort of doesn't give that delicacy to it. So you want to keep your recipe a little chunky for this one. Okay? Then the anchovies, you literally just want to cut them enough, but I'm going to put everything through. You don't want to use a food processor for this. So if you have a food processor that goes really low, you can use it, but you don't want to puree things, if that makes sense. You want to keep the consistency to it. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put in the sun-dried tomatoes, and I'm going to put it very low setting, and I'm just going to start chopping them. I want them enough to where they can get separated, but not enough to where they start making juice. Then in this, I'm going to use 1 cup extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is a monosaturated fat. It's very understood by the body, I want to say. At what heat temperature, guys?
Below 250.
Below 250. The reason being, olive oil, and I'm going to say this, and the Lori and Paul aren't going to like me, olive oil hydrogenates at a very low temperature. And what hydrogenation means, it becomes rancinated. Do you know what rancinated means? Pretty much it becomes foreign to the body, okay? And it starts hydrogenating. the hydrogenation factor is very poisonous for the body, and you want to keep as little hydrogenation in outside. You want to keep as little as you can from coming in. It's not a good factor. So that's why I introduced coconut oil. Coconut oil has a very high melting hydrogenation factor. It's about 450 degrees. So anything above 250, which if you're not familiar, it's at the sizzle point. So anything that's sizzling is above 250. You want to start alternating your oil. There's sesame seed oil, there's coconut oil, grapeseed oil. Those are higher melting points. But you do not want to use olive oil in any hot, like boiling hot recipes. So there's the tomatoes, and as you can see, they're not pureed, they're just sort of ground up. So if you have a food processor to do that, that's fine. You can use a blender, guys. I didn't have anything fancy until I worked up with that. The oil is the only thing you want to leave out if you're not going to make this and serve it right away. If you are, you can mix everything at the same time. But if you're not going to serve it right away, it's the only thing you want to leave out until right before you do serve it. Balsamic vinegar is such a wonderful complement to any meal that you want to make fancy, I say. A dressing, a marinade, mushrooms, anything that you want to make them more have a bite, but yet not just still simple. It's a wonderful factor. So all I'm going to do is the tomatoes are in there, half olive oil, balsamic, and the anchovies and parsley are going in now. Now, how hard was this so far? Not very hard. So this took, what, 5 minutes, maybe? I'm going to pour the rest of the olive oil in it. Did you see what I did with my garlic? Carrie never ate garlic before. My mom got me a garlic press, and I swore at it every time I used it for a year. And I said to my mom she was nuts. I'm never using garlic, so I'd hand cut it. Never would work. And this is Pampered Chef, and I don't promote products, but this one I do all day long. It is the best garlic press I've ever owned. You literally put the whole garlic in it, and it just squeezes out like you would not believe. I think it was 25 bucks. I would have paid 100 for it. It's amazing. And garlic is such a wonderful anti-inflammatory for the body to have. It's a natural anti-inflammatory. So all I'm going to do is finish mixing this. And when I'm done mixing it, it's a wonderful complement to any holiday hors d'oeuvre. So I made meatballs tonight.